Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to the lounge. It's Kelsey here today. We're going to be talking about things I wish people would have told me before I got into whiskey. So let's jump right into this. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Kelsey in the lounge. Just wanted to hang out with you for a few minutes and talk about something that has been on my mind a little bit, and that is what I wish somebody would have told me about whiskey before I started. First off, this is going to be a fun one because there's a lot of things that I think that many people have told me along the way, or I've learned myself, or that I made mistakes and blah, blah, blah. You get it. You all been there. You probably experienced and done it, but I thought this would be a fun topic to hit on. First thing I would say is don't get caught up in chasing the things that are just on YouTube. There are so many things out there, good whiskey that aren't on YouTube, but at the same time, it can be a good resource when you think about whether or not you align with somebody's palate. First thing I would say is find somebody that you trust or that you've watched and then go out and try a pour of whatever they're saying at a bar or a friend's house. Try it first. See if your palate aligns with them. Are you tasting similar things? Are you using that YouTube to learn, or are you just using it to just kind of get an idea of whether or not you think you'll like the bottle? The second thing is, what is an NDP versus a heritage distillery? Now, this is something that you can learn on the back of a bottle typically. There are a few tricky things. What is an NDP? It's someone who doesn't produce their own distillate. So you have people like, I don't know, MGP who produces their own distillate, but they also sell a lot of that distillate to other labels specifically for the use of single barrels or blends. Barton does this thing for, Calumet and Sam Houston. These are NDPs. These are people that are not producing their own distillate. Now, here's one that's kind of interesting. We just talked to Jonathan Maizano. He's an NDP. He doesn't produce his own whiskey. Now, he does blend the whiskey together to create a particular blend that's only specific for K-Luke. And so it's a little bit different. So you're going to find these things. And Jonathan's pretty transparent about the year, the age, and the state of distillation. And from that, you can kind of figure out somewhere of what he's pulling from or where he's pulling from. And then if you just do some research or talk to people, you'll be able to find out those particular things. Another key thing is find somebody a little further along on your whiskey journey than you. And that's important because of a couple of things. One, they're going to know some things that you will have questions. You're not having to wait for somebody to respond, but also they can let you taste things that you may not already have to buy. That was one of the cool things about the local group when we've talked about community versus collecting last time, is that you can taste things from your friends and figure out that's something that you really want to spend and invest your money in. That was key for me. And what our local group would do would be like, okay, you're going to buy this one, right? And I'm going to buy this one. And then we would share. Or if there's single barrel picks, I had some friends that I would share a bottle with because we weren't sure if we want to really like it. That we were not paying a full price for a bottle. We split that price. Those are some simple things you can do to try to figure out where your palate aligns. And that's the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about is find out what mash bills or distilleries that you really enjoy by tasting those things along the way. There are certain distilleries that when I first started that I thought I really liked, but as I grew in my whiskey journey, those distilleries came less and less as a part of my regular go-tos. And I found some other distilleries that I actually go to all the time because of the consistency of the flavor profiles. Lots of things like Jeff was MGP, that was his thing, back in the day. That's one thing that he knew he was going to love. Now that profile has changed over the years. And it's interesting to see how that progression of barrels change from distilleries, how the heritage releases are different from craft distilleries. And that's something else that you guys, I think, is important. What defines craft versus heritage? I mean, that's an ever changing thing. And a lot of it depends on basically how long that they've been doing what they've been doing. K-Luke's been around a while, but I wouldn't necessarily consider them craft because they're an NDP. But I would say that they get a very complex profile in their whiskeys because of the art of blending. And so that's another thing that I want to talk to you about: single barrels versus batch products. Single barrels are always going to be fun, and they're fun because they're always something a little bit different from year to year, but also from barrel to barrel. We've tasted barrels that sat directly next to each other, but tasted completely different. And that's the cool thing about single barrels, is that you're always going to kind of get a fun and neat experience. But if you're looking to taste the same thing over and over and over, you're going to be more of a batch product person, and that is perfectly fine. Some people like to smoke the same thing every day with cigars. Others, like me, I enjoy a wide variety because I'm depending on my mood, what I'm pairing it, what type of day it is. Same thing with whiskey. I don't drink whiskey all the same times. I drink it during the day sometimes, but it's fun because when you get these batch products, when you're looking for specific flavor profiles, you want to be able to make sure that when you buy that bottle again, you're going to get the same experiences. So that's something that I wish somebody would have told me up front. The other thing is that high prices or a very expensive bottle does not mean it's going to be better whiskey. That's something that I had to learn the hard way. I kept chasing after these bottles, and I found out that, these super uber expensive bottles don't always provide the best whiskey experience. And that's just from tasting and figuring this stuff out. But I will tell you, there are some fabulous whiskeys between prices of $30 to $80. There's tons of brands out there. How do you go about finding out what you like? Find a local community, taste. Don't everybody buy the same thing. Buy different things, taste it together. Those are key concepts in which I think will help you in your whiskey journey, but will also help you in your experience of knowing what distilleries that you're going to like. And then you can go back and try that particular portfolio of that distillery, whether it be a single barrel from that distillery or whether it be a batch product from that distillery. There are some single barrels that I like from distilleries that I don't like their batch products, and vice versa. So there's always something new to try, but I would tell you, try it before you buy it if at all possible, or do what we did, which was get a group of friends. Hey, I'm going to buy this. Would you mind buying that? And we can trade bottles, or we can do halves and halves, well, however you want to do it, or just try it. And if you really like it, then you can go buy the whole bottle. So those are some of the things that I wish some people would have told me. The other thing that I wish somebody would have told me is how much money of an investment whiskey would be long term. It is an expensive hobby. So is cigars. But the cool thing about whiskey and cigars, again, to follow up what my video was just on about community, is that it's about shared experience. It's about the people that you share those experiences with. And that's what makes it fun. That's what really will add value to your life. And I think that that's what most of us in this community really enjoy about it, is because we get to share those experiences and learn from each other. Drink with more people. You're going to learn things from people that you don't normally drink with. I mean, that was the fun thing about the meetups and, visiting other friends that I don't get to see on a regular basis and learning to drink with them, even online, that they're going to call something one thing and you're going to call it something different. It gives you an expanded vocabulary. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and this will be the last thing, is the flavor experiences are all about recall. Durrell has a great palate, Jeff has a great palate, but they have a great palate because they're able to lock in specific memories of a flavor and put that in their, so to speak, tool chest and pull it out and remember, oh, I remember this profile because of this distillery, and they just have a great memory recall. And that's really about learning more about whiskey, is just having that ability to, whether it be food, learning from food. Jason C. always said that he learned a lot from his grandma growing up because she cooked all the time and she got those flavor experiences. And he was able to recall that with whiskey just by smelling it and tasting it. And that memory triggered a sense of what it was supposed to taste like to him. And all this stuff is objective. Something that tastes something great to me may taste like raspberry to you, but it's subjective. I mean, all this is. But the key thing is, I just wanted to throw this out there. What are some things that you wish somebody would have told you before you got into whiskey? Put those in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe. I can't wait to hear some great stories about what you wish you would have known before you got into whiskey. And let's have a conversation. We'll see you here next time.